Imagine you and your partner having survived 9 months of anticipation, arriving at the hospital in full bloom, and after hours of pure exhaustion, the moment has finally arrived. You've pushed for the last time, your partner is beaming, and the doctor shouts, "Congratulations, it's a baby." And then silence falls over the room. Believe it or not, this scene, or something similar, occurs in 1 in 2,000 births in the United States each year. At this stage, the condition is called ambiguous genitalia. It's when the baby's sex is not clear. The terms that we're most familiar with are hermaphrodite and intersex. According to a Journal of Gay and Lesbian Studies, in 2006, the U.S. and European endocrinology societies agreed to change the official term to DSD, disorders of sexual development. This was done to focus on the problems, the medical problems that could arise, and to not focus on the stigma attached to the condition. However, as we move on, I will use the word hermaphrodite in order to stay and keep in the historical context. My goal is to share a little history about hermaphrodites, to clarify the meaning of the word intersex, and to update you on how intersex people are received in the community today. The word hermaphrodite is from Greek mythology. There are a few variations of the myth, but the outcome is always the same. The handsome son of the gods Hermes and Aphrodite merged together with a nymph named Salmacis. Their goal was to be together forever, and this union formed a beautiful being that had both male and female sex organs. There was no mortal counterpart. In the animal kingdom, there are a few animals that are true hermaphrodites. The earthworm is probably the most commonly known, and it is born with both male and female reproductive organs and can reproduce as either. The word hermaphrodite was dropped when discussing humans because many argue that there are few, if any, true human hermaphrodites born. As discussed in the Journal of American History, medicine became more sophisticated. Doctors discovered that although hermaphrodites had both male and female reproduction organs on the outside, they rarely had functioning reproductive organs on the inside. So this dispelled the myth that a hermaphrodite could impregnate itself. Evidence of hermaphrodism in humans has been here since the beginning of time. It is seen in ancient and Roman and Greek art. An article in the Sciences Journal called The Five Sexes states, early biblical scholars believe that Adam began life as a hermaphrodite and then later split into two people. According to Plato, there were three sexes, male, female, and hermaphrodite. The third sex was lost over time. And according to the Talmud and the Tafsirah, Jewish books of law, there are lists of regulations specifically for people with mixed sex. By the end of the Middle Ages in Europe, hermaphrodites had to choose a sex and stick with it. And there were severe penalties for people who didn't, often death. Moving on to the 1800s, hermaphrodites were referred to as monstrosities. Doctors believed that sexual confusion was unnatural, and according to Jacques-Louis Moreau, sexual traits appear in the female egg even before fertilization. He dismissed the idea that a person could even have male and female sex organs. He also promoted the idea that maternal neglect could sometimes promote germs and cause disfigured normal genitalia. Fortunately, medicine started to make major advances, and these ideas have been replaced with more reasonable explanations. Western medicine has been committed to the idea of only two sexes. In the early 1900s, doctors decided that as long as you chose your baby's sex by the age of 18 months, the child would grow up happily as whatever sex he or she was given. And parents who were already shaken by this whole dilemma would choose a sex and try to move on. Unfortunately, when puberty started, the situation had to be revisited. Many of these children developed physical characteristics of the opposite sex, and most were not told that they were born intersex, so it would tear families apart. Now I'd like to skip ahead to 1993. Anne Fausto Sterling continues her article that the 5 sexes have always existed. Herms who possess 1 testes and 1 ovary. Merms who possess aspects of female genitalia and no ovaries. Firms who possess ovaries, some aspects of male genitalia and no testes, and of course male and female. The truth is that there are many gray areas between male and female. Intersex people are not to be confused with transgenders. Transgenders are people who are psychologically trapped in the opposite sex body. And although we are becoming more accepting of gay and lesbian and transgenders, intersex people are still in the closet. And who can blame them? Doctors still promote surgery to make them normal. Parents in society still struggle with the idea and the stigma of having an intersex child. And although doctors promote surgery, they do educate parents on what their options are. Today, more and more parents are opting to allow their children to grow to puberty and then decide. Many intersex people decide to remain androgynous. There are organizations like the Intersex Society of North America to help families understand that they are not alone. There are as many people born intersex in the United States each year as there are redheads. So chances are all of you have had some acquaintance with someone who is intersex. Hermaphrodites have been here since the beginning of time. Intersex is still being defined, and clearly as a society we need to continue to grow. But we are making progress. If you'd like to learn more about the topic, I suggest that you read an article called Impossible Hermaphrodites, Intersex in America, 1620 to 1960, written by Elizabeth Rice. I found the topic fascinating. Thank you.